Hello, everyone, and welcome to 10 Candles on TTRPG. Happy Halloween. 10 Candles is a role playing game of tragic horror by Stephen Dewey. Tonight, we explore hope and loss, desperation, doom, and the makeup of humanity. Our content warnings include character and NPC death, intense situations, power dynamics, violence, allusion to animal experimentation. The characters tonight will not survive, but we are going to be weaving a story to make their struggle as meaningful as possible. Let's go around the table and meet our characters. Nikki?
Hello, I'm playing Joe. Is that all you want to know, or should I say more?
Who are you?
I'm Nikki. Joe is a vegan climber who works at a sporting goods store. I think that kind of says it all. And she's gay, like all of my characters.
Amanda?
Hi, I'm Amanda, and I will be playing Sarah. She is a college student trying to work her way through college at the bookstore as she majors in environmental sciences with a minor in political science because she wants to help nature as much as possible. She loves nature, she loves animals, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, well, you'll see.
Ominous.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Christiana. I am playing Vish. She works at the salon and is just usually a very jovial, happy person, but now, unfortunately, only feels one negative emotion all the time.
I'm Christina. I'll be your GM this evening. And now we have some video to roll.
10 days ago, the world went dark. 5 days ago, they came. We're going to find out what happens when humans are pushed to their brink. What is real? What is right? And most importantly, what will they do? These things are true. The world is dark, and we are alive.
This is Joe. I'm in the back of Bob's Sporting Goods in the storage area. I've refilled my bag. I've got water and first aid supplies. I heard some noise coming from a little slice of heaven. I'm going to stop by there, see if there's anyone who needs my help, and then I'm heading north. I'm going to see if I can find my folks or see if they clear out a little bit as the weather gets cooler. We'll see. I don't have a lot of hope left, but if somebody needs me, I'm going to help them and then be on my way.
My name is Vish. We're in a dress shop in Mars Hill Mall. We're losing hope. But my sweet girl, wherever you are, please understand that I did what I did to save you. Please forgive me.
My name's Sarah Birch, and currently holed up in this dress shop. I'm safe right now. You know, when I heard rumors that they were starting to come back, I thought to myself, nature's healing. It was going to be a good thing, but not like this. I never wanted anyone to get hurt. And so now we're trapped here, and I just want us to survive. So I just want to get out of here.
Tonight, we find our story in a small dress shop off of Highway 26 on the way to Mars Hill, North Carolina, at a little slice of heaven. The old radio in the back of the shop is only meant to play CDs, but the cheery pop music hasn't played in days. It's said that down at the Asheville airport, there's a group looking to try for a flight, even though they're looking for hands. The small strip mall, known as Mars Hill Mall, has gone quiet over the past few days, even though the industry in these parts started to dry up long ago. No one told them. You're all that's left on the border of nature and infrastructure, asphalt snaking through some of the oldest mountains in the world. Hope is in short supply. Now, these things are true. The world is dark.
And we are alive.
So, tell me, what is true about your world right now?
Joe is leaving the sporting goods store with a backpack full of like protein bars and those like Energel things that like runners have, and some canteens with water in them, Camelback. Like she looks real like turtly because she's got both the Camelback and then a backpack over that, and just very efficient. And a headlamp on, and that's basically it. Oh, and a first aid kit, small first aid kit like that you would pick up at a sporting goods store.
Right, first aid kit. And where is Joe going?
Joe heard noise coming from the from a little slice of heaven. Is that what it's called? She wouldn't know because she would never shop there. She heard noise coming from a little slice of heaven, and so she's heading that way to see what's going on, if anyone needs any help.
What else is true?
Vish took a trip back to where she usually works at the salon in the strip mall, and has found all the sharpest scissors that she could, and she's unscrewed the little part in the middle so that she basically has a couple shanks on her. She has poured out some of the antibacterial liquid and the like antiseptic things to clean materials and put them back in bottles, just to help maybe clean wounds or anything that could possibly happen. There's not much else in here because everything is electronic and we have no power. So kind of feeling a little disappointed, but knowing that she did the best that she could. She'll start walking out of the salon and notices another figure passing by, and she will try to follow them.
Joe, you hear steps behind you.
Turn around. And how long would you say Vish has been working at this mall?
Ooh, at least for the past 5 years, I would say.
Okay, so Joe turns around and she's like, "Hey, Vish." Hey, Vish.
Oh, hey, sorry, I didn't recognize you with all that gear on. I guess I should have.
You've never taken any of my climbing courses, so it makes sense you're not used to seeing me like this, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a pack mule.
Well, you probably got some great stuff at the store. All I could really find or scrounge up was some scissors and some things to maybe clean wounds should we ever acquire any.
Yeah. Do you need a bag?
That'd be great. Yeah.
Joe's gonna like reach into the side pocket of her of the backpack that she has on and pull out like one of those foldable tote bags and hand it to you.
This is perfect. Thank you. And you just see like 3 bottles of something come out of nowhere. She was like hiding them in her bra strap. 3 bottles of like that blue liquid go into the bag, and then some like broken scissors and things like that.
Yeah.
Where are you heading?
I was thinking of heading. I heard some noise at a little slice of heaven, so I was gonna check that out, see if anyone needs any help. And then I'm going north. Like, wonder if like they don't like cold weather. Who knows? You know, could be. It was a thought I had. Also, my folks are north, so I might head that way anyway.
Okay. Do you mind if I tag along? I'm resourceful.
Clearly, the scissors thing. They're very scary and clever.
All right, let's go check out that sound.
Sarah, what is true where you are?
Sarah might not have most weapons, but she has a full stock of like a little section, a nature section that has like maps of trails. It has like a kind of a how to survive in the woods book. So she takes a few of those with her. She has a messenger bag that she carries all her school supplies in. She also takes a couple of like box cutters with her that they have from the back stock room. On the way out, there's like a little cafe that's attached to this bookstore, and she grabs a few of those pre-wrapped like scones and just sticks them in her bag as well.
Where is Sarah heading?
Um, she's not 100% sure, but she heard rumors from customers when the power first went out, when she was asking what's going on, and she heard rumors that maybe there is people at the airport. So I'm going to try to make my way down there.
What is her transportation plan?
She doesn't. She takes the bus normally. So, but hopefully she can find maybe like a bike no one's using. Something like that. She's hoping that, hopefully someone around here has a bike.
Nice. In the dark of the mall, you focus your hearing, and you look around and you notice kind of a lumpy figure with a second other figure. They seem to be exchanging something, and you can hear some echoing voices kind of bouncing off of the tiles.
Do they sound menacing?
How on edge are you?
I'm not quite on edge yet, okay. But this is just kind of I'm taking a couple of deep breaths as I steel myself for the journey.
As you focus in, they're definitely human. It's not them.
Okay. I slowly approach, trying not to make too much noise, but I also don't want to startle them. So I tried to start gesturing as I make my way over there.
Vish and Joe, you hear tap tap of footsteps behind you.
Joe turns around and you get headlamp like in your face. Oh, sorry about that, and like points it down.
Mm-hmm.
Turns it to red.
Hi. Are y'all going to the airport too?
Well, I was just gonna head north. Like, I don't know. I thought of hibernation and thought maybe they like don't like cold weather.
Oh, that's true. It is getting that time of year. Hopefully they'll be gone soon.
Well, the airport's on the way north. We could probably just stick together and have that way. It's best for us, I would assume.
Safety in numbers and all that.
Sure, yeah. I think that's why all the people at the airport have probably survived so long.
Do y'all need a ride?
Yeah,
that'd be nice. Yeah.
I think we could take the keys for the van that we take people out for like climbing expeditions and stuff. Like, could probably take the keys and like try to get the van to work. I mean, of course, if we have keys, it's gonna work. I'm just saying, like, we could try that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I was just gonna try to find someone's bike, but that sounds even better.
I'd like to see you bike to the airport, but for your safety, I think you should go with us.
Well, thank you.
So yeah, I'm gonna go back to the like supply store, the sporting goods store, and see if I can find the keys for the van that we take people out for climbing trips.
Okay, so since you're looking for something, I think this is going to be our first conflict roll.
First roll!
Yeah, so how this works is the players have a dice pool of 10d6, and they're going to, you go ahead and roll that 10d6.
Okay, I'm going to do it on your computer because It's going to be too loud if I don't. Okay, and what am I looking for?
We're looking for successes, which are 6s. You have 2 successes. I have 0 because I have no dice to roll. And now, so you will succeed in this, and you, the players, win narration rights of what you find and what happens next. Do you have any 1s?
Yeah, I have 1 1.
1 1. Okay, so I get to take that 1 and add it to my dice, and you will lose that die. So I'm just gonna.
Say, do you want me to do it? Or you got it.
I think I have it.
So the next time one of us rolls, we only will roll 9d6.
That's right, and I will roll 1. And if I roll more 6s than you, I control what you find.
Yeah, make sure your cursor is an arrow, not a hand.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm a hand. Oh, there we go.
Again, we will just edit this part out in post.
You know, I might not, because I think it'd be cool for people to see how we made Miro work, but.
Oh, true.
Okay.
Ooh,
Interesting. Move. It didn't show it on the overlay.
Yeah.
Weird. Well, we can see it happened.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, there it goes. Now it's showing up. It just took a moment. All right. It's caught up. So now you have a dice and we have 9.
That's right. What do you find, Joe?
Joe has led a lot of those expeditions, and so she knows exactly where to look. And so she goes up, and there's like a key box in the like manager's office, and so she uses her, closer key to get into the manager's office, and then like she knows exactly where the manager keeps the keys to the key box because he's not very good at being safe, and so it's just like in his desk drawer. So she gets that, opens the key box, and there's keys to one of those like big like white vans with like the black tinted windows that people use for like tour guide type stuff. And so, yeah, so that's what she gets the keys to.
How is that van looking?
How is it looking?
Yeah. Has it been inside? Has it been outside?
So we're really diligent about keeping the inside very clean because that's what guests expect. So you don't want a stinky van. However, what they also expect is that we go on lots of expeditions and we want it to be like its own advertising thing. So we let it stay dirty on the outside.
And has it remained untouched in the last 10 days?
I would say there's like scuffs on the side from people like trying to look inside to see if maybe there's anything in there. But otherwise, no one's touched it. I think like I don't know why Joe would be the only one to think to like come back to the shop. Maybe like they had other ideas or things like that, or maybe people just don't think like, oh, I'm gonna go to the abandoned mall to get supplies. But yeah, so no one else has touched it.
All right. What about Vish and Sarah?
Sarah is going to take a baseball bat that was left on display. I'm assuming there's going to be like kind of like sports gear. So she takes a baseball bat with her. And as she's walking down the aisle, she happens to catch like the weightlifting area, and all of the supplies. And she sees like weightlifting gloves on display. So she grabs some of that because she has kind of tender hands. So her being sort of not necessarily an intellectual, but being more or less coped up inside in college classes and stuff have left her hands a little bit more vulnerable than she's used to. So she uses those to protect her hands.
Awesome.
Vish will go to, most of the store is climbing gear, but she'll try to find some climbing hooks and some rope and attach them together to make some kind of like whip with a hook type situation. She was hoping maybe to find something more of a weapon than that, but and something that's geared. Would you say that this is mostly just like a climbing store, or is it just like all adventure and
Have you ever been
sport?
to an REI?
No.
Okay.
Is it like a Dick's Sporting Goods?
It's more that plus like camping and climbing gear and like clothing and stuff for all of that, and then like just tons of like camping and climbing food and camp stoves and tents and sleeping bags and all of those things. I would hazard a guess that there would be like some kind of crossbows, but whether or not Vish would know how to use those is a different story.
Maybe not, but she, if there's camping things, she would try to find those like instant campfire type things. So like as soon as you open it and light it, it turns into like a fire, just springs like that can last for a long time. And a couple of those, and maybe some like rags and stuff. She's thinking like Molotov cocktails could be useful in the future.
I was also thinking one of those like runner's blankets. I don't know what they call them, but those like those foil like silver blanket. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I grab a pack or two of those. Yeah.
I think as you are grabbing this gear, you notice that other people did have the same idea, and some of the shelves are getting kind of bare, especially the food. A lot of the pre-packaged like astronaut food the shelves are empty. But you're able to find your fire starters, your rags, your blanket. Are you fashioning a weapon, Vish?
Yeah.
Out of something? Can I get a roll?
Sure. With 96.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I have 2 6s and 2 1s.
So as a reminder, if you want to burn a trait to keep me from taking those 1s from your dice pool, you could do that. From the top of your stack, what you'd have to do is use your trait in the scene.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Do I say what the trait is? And
yeah.
Okay. So the one I have on top is this one. I don't know if you're looking at Miro. Mm-hmm. Is that the one that I would be using?
Yeah, that's the one you'd be using.
Okay. So the trait I have is secretive. So I think that while Vish is acquiring these materials, she might be pretty overly obvious about some of the things that she's putting in her backpack that she was given. But as she starts fashioning the climbing hook to some rope that she found, she'll try to do that with her back turned to the others, and she will tuck the hook into her pants, like the top of her pants, so that it's not visible, and only the rope shows. She doesn't want the others to know that she has this like long range weapon.
Awesome. You can go ahead and re-roll those 2 1s then.
Cool. Okay. It's neither 6s nor 1s.
So you get to keep those dice, and you control the narrative. So what would you like to do next?
Vish would try to find Joe, see what that status is. And assuming that she would probably be in an office of some kind, and I don't know how big the store is, but I think that could be pretty easy to find. Not sure.
There's one of those big neon like exit signs above the where like the staff only spot is, because it's a fire safety thing. Like those exits have to be marked. So logically you would probably know to go that way.
Okay. So yeah, Vish would go into the office and just be like, hey Joe, are you finding everything okay? Do you need help? Do we have a plan?
Well, I have the keys. They're here. And so we've got access to the vans. But like I was trying to decide if I also wanted to take cash. Like, I don't know how useful cash is in like this situation, but at the same time it might be useful for like getting other people to help us. I don't know.
I think honestly at this point, food might be a better currency. Supplies.
Right.
I mean, how good is money going to be if, nothing's going to be working?
That's a good point. Can I look further? Like, I mean, I would know if there is one or not, but is there a vending machine in our break room?
What do you think?
Well, I had one when we had one when I worked in banking. We had a vending machine in the break room. We have a couple that are like drinks in where I work now in the school and the staff room. But I'm trying to think like when I worked in retail if we ever had one, but I only worked in stores that were too small to have something like that.
I think the mall would definitely have one. And there's also a food court in the mall. But like malls have vending machines.
Yeah. Should we so then I'm going to turn back to like Sarah and Vish and be like, should we like I don't know, I'm trying to think of one of the places in the food court that are still there, like the Subway or the like Taco Bell or whatever, and try to see if we can like see what they've got in the back. Taco Bell's not really food, so I imagine it lasts a long time without going bad.
Yeah, maybe some of like the meats, even at Subway, some of like the deli meats might be okay, could be salvageable.
So some of the Subway bread, I'm sure that they have some of those baked up.
The breads, yeah, tortillas from Taco
Wraps.
Bell.
Maybe maybe they used canned beans.
Mm.
Anything canned.
Yeah. I think we should go look and see if we can find some canned food.
Okay.
As you head to the food court, traversing this mall, as you're searching for, I guess, food that would work and be shelf stable, can I get a conflict roll from one of you?
Yes. I just realized when I zoomed in I messed up with the overlay. Okay. Oh no. 1 6 and 3 1s.
Okay. So are you losing those ones to me, or are you going to burn a trait?
So the trait I have on top, I don't know how that would apply to this situation yet. And I think it's going to make things more interesting if we start giving you some of our dice.
Sure.
Okay. I could think of a way that you could work it in if you saw something. Maybe in the food court, digging around.
Yeah. Depends on what that something is. If it's a person or one of them, it will make a difference.
I think it might be a person. But I can also take those dice.
No, I think I want to wait for a more dire situation to reveal that side of Joe. So I'm going to give you the dice. I think it's going to be a more, like, it's gonna be a worse situation before she would
Okay.
show that side.
So you won the roll off. So you control the narrative. So what do you find at the food court?
So I'm remembering my time working for said sandwich shop, and we had like the big, like the tuna was in these like big pouches, and you would like open it and then like mix it up. So I think we find a couple of those big pouches of tuna, and Joe thinks to herself like, I mean, if I have to, I gotta live. And so she like thinks about like, at some point she might eat it, but it also could work for like trading. And then the other thing I thought of was so the soups were frozen, but I'm thinking like the Taco Bell, we could probably find some like canned black beans and refried beans. And so protein. So yeah.
So what's going on in the food court? You get to set the scene. Any of you can jump in with narrative pieces.
What time of day is it? Do we set that, or do we just sort of?
Yeah, you can set that. So you're all kind of you all kind of came out of your stores at the same time. I wonder if it's maybe a time where they are less active. Would that be night or day?
I feel like daytime.
Yeah.
A lot of predators are nocturnal.
I imagine that the food court, however, is like kind of dark, even though it's daytime, except for a couple skylights coming from up ahead, and you just see maybe some trash that got spilled over at some point. Maybe someone was rummaging through the trash cans at some point. So there's trash kind of everywhere spread out.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of a weird juxtaposed scene with all the trash, and it looks like maybe places have been raided a little bit too, and there's broken things and random shoes or an item of something splattering in blood. But then, like, oddly, the plants that were placed around the food court are thriving, and they're growing towards the skylights, and they're green and they're luscious.
And I imagine that there's a lot of the food was probably just left, just kind of wherever the workers were. So a lot of the vegetables that would have been on the sandwiches is just gone. It's spoiled. Also, there's a lot of spoiled food that was just left out.
So it smells pretty rancid in here. Even the plants doing their best to filter the air aren't doing the most. And I think that smell hits you, the trash and the rot.
I kind of do one of these things.
Yeah, maybe we can find some coffee beans or something. Sort of just clear our palates, the smell.
Coffee beans would actually, caffeine is an addiction. I think if we got coffee beans, we would also have currency.
Yeah, coffee is gold.
Sarah, yes. Don't you work at a coffee shop?
I don't work at one, but there was one at the bookstore. I can double back and see if I can pick up a couple of bags.
I mean, that might be good. We can, and if the bags are gone, we could check the grinder thing.
Yeah.
Sarah, are you going back by yourself?
I would like it if maybe someone came with me, or maybe both people came with me. I am not quite as capable of doing this alone as I maybe thought I would be.
Joe's already like, as soon as you start saying that, Joe's already turned around and has started like walking towards the bookstore. She had no intention of letting you go there by yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. Sarah's running on basically like 3 hours of sleep and just in pure instinct, and she is slowly realizing her instincts are not quite as sharp as maybe they would be normally.
So, Bish, are you going to stay here in the food court, looking for more food?
Yeah, I think Vish would stay just to. I mean, she recognizes and she hesitates for a second, thinking, it's probably best we stick together. But also, time is of the essence because we only have a limited amount of hours before they come back.
Okay. As you go through the canned food, you're able to collect quite a bit of the tuna and the bread and the canned beans. Where do you put those? Are you putting them in a bag or just piling them? Or
she'll put as much as she can in the bag, and then set more everything that she can find on one of the tables in the food court that's still upturned properly, so that the others can fill their bags as well when they come back.
Very good. Joe and Sarah, can I get you to make a roll for me as you search the coffee shop for useful
and I
items?
have 6 dice. That is 2 failures and no successes.
So I have 1 success. So I will control the narrative unless you would like to burn a trait to take that narrative back from me.
I would like to burn my trait.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what will happen.
Okay, what is your... Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
How do you want to work that into the narrative scene?
So as we're walking, I imagine that maybe I hear just like little like scuttling echoing across the floor. So I immediately take out my bat, and I'm just kind of like walking like this. And then just something catches out of the corner of my eye. And before I even know what I'm doing, I'm swinging. I swing my bat at whatever it is.
Okay. As your bat connects, it sprawls out onto the floor and slides against one of the bookcases, and a bunch of books fall off in a clatter. What is it?
It looks just like a regular raccoon, maybe. I don't think it's one of them, but it doesn't look quite as menacing. It's just a regular raccoon.
Okay. It hisses and spits at you and starts to scurry away on its hands, kind of tearing up some of the books in its wake. And can I have you re-roll those failure dice?
No successes, but no failures.
Okay, you'll get to keep those.
Okay.
Nice.
And I'm curious to see how Joe is going to react to this.
I was trying to decide myself, like, I think that once Joe realizes it's like a regular raccoon, she might like grip the end of your baseball bat and be like, okay, it's not one of them. Are you good?
Okay, I think I'm good now, but I'm sorry, Mr. Raccoon. I did not mean to hurt you like that.
Yeah, that's
me.
Normal raccoon behavior. So.
Okay, versus like not regular raccoon behavior.
I mean, raccoons kind of do their own thing, so really
that's true. They have a mind of their own. And I just thought maybe it was one of them. I just heard things, and I just started swinging.
Good to know. Not make a lot of noise around you. Gotcha. Should we go check and see if we can find those beans?
Let's do it. I know how to get to the back.
Cool.
Right. I'm going to have you narrate what you find in the back, and then the first candle. Since I did still win, you took the narration from me, but I still won the roll. The first candle is going to go out.
So in the back, you see just kind of almost like a stainless steel everything, but very small, almost like a kitchen, but not necessarily anything that would be cooked back there. Maybe like an oven from where they do like the scones out of the premix. And you do see boxes, and on the boxes are labeled, like Seattle roast, Columbia roast, all the Brazilian roast, all the other different types of coffee roasts. And since, I guess people weren't looking for something that you have to make, there's actually quite a few boxes back there that have been untouched, where people have just left. So I use my box cutter and I open them up and I take a couple of bags of the coffee.
All right. And I think our scene fades to black as that first candle darkens. And then we're going to start a new scene and establish new truths. So these things are true. The world is dark.
And we are alive.
We are alive.
So I did truths wrong last time. We're supposed to say one truth for each candle we have burning. So we need 9 truths about the next scene. We can do a time skip to somewhere like in the van. If you want to just time skip a couple minutes, that's fine. If you want to be in a whole other place, that's also fine. So it's up to you. I'll go ahead and start out with, or does someone else want to start out with the truth? How about this? I'll read the truths that I already have. So, truth. The power is out. They don't like the cold. Food is more valuable than money. They are nocturnal, and plants are still growing.
That's 5.
That's 5. So we'll need 9 more truths.
Got
so
it.
we'll just kind of go around in a circle and say like 9 statements, and it can be about the scene, like we are in blank, or it could be about them. It could be they are weak to something, or you could even say something about your character, like Vish knows blank about something specific in the mall, or maybe there's a store that you really want to have there, like there's a hot topic in this mall or something. So
Are you guys okay with skipping to the van?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
okay, so truth, we are in the van.
Yeah, we're in the van. We're in a very well stocked van.
Sarah or Vish, do you have a truth?
We have half a tank.
Okay.
The chill of autumn is starting to hit the sky. The leaves are changing.
I think.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you were doing it too.
If you don't want me to, that's totally fine.
Oh, you can.
Okay. I think you see some other cars in the parking lot that have been destroyed by them.
The airport is about a half a tank of gas away.
How many is that so far?
That is 5. So we need 4 more.
Okay. They don't like the sound of motorized vehicles, so that's why they come after it.
They don't like fire.
I'm going to say they get stronger night after night.
There's one left, right? Yeah. There are no herbivores left. It's all carnivores, baby.
Okay. So we know what is true. So where do we find you?
Are we loading up the van or are we in the van already?
We could be loading the van.
Loading the van.
That crisp summer air kind of kicks at your ankles and the leaves skitter across the asphalt of the parking lot. And every time you hear that leaf scrape across the ground, you kind of have a visceral reaction of, oh God, they're here. But it's day. The clouds are here. It's a dark gray day, but it is still day. And they're not out. You see those abandoned cars with slashed tires and broken windows with massive claw marks and marks from teeth from nights ago. 5 nights every night they've been here and they've gotten stronger. What happens as you're loading the van? I guess, are you trying to get as much in as possible? Are you leaving room for yourselves or other folks? Or is it kind of a haphazard, quick?
It is not haphazard. Jo is very meticulous about packing the van because she has done this with a van full of people with all of their climbing gear and all the snacks and everything else they would possibly need for going on an expedition. And so it is like Tetris. It is perfect. And there's plenty of room for other people, which is good because I think that at that moment, somebody else starts walking towards us in the van.
I think this person is going to be running towards you. You see they're dressed in kind of like a ripped. They have a shirt that's ripped across the shoulder, a black slacks that they've ripped off at the knees to give themselves more mobility. They have a kitchen knife strapped to the side, up to their hip, and are running up on the van. And you see the Auntie Anne's pretzel logo on their apron. They have like outfitted with pretty much anything sharp that it looks like they could find. They'll run up to the van. Are you guys cool?
Yeah, are you?
Yeah, we're cool.
You look like people, so I'm a person. Where are you guys going?
North?
Great. I'm in anywhere to get out of there. Oh, it's been awful. What have you seen?
I saw a raccoon.
In the day?
Yeah.
It was a normal raccoon.
I mean, it was a normal raccoon. It wasn't like one of them.
Well, it's normal now. But if it gets, not normal.
Well, we didn't bring it with us.
It's a good call.
You got any supplies?
Just knives mostly. Do you guys have food?
Yeah. Jo reaches into her pack and hands them a vegan like sports bar.
You take it and just start just ripping at it, eating it. Thank you.
She like also reaches in her bag and hands over a canteen of water.
Starts drinking. It's been a long couple of days. There's only so many pretzels one person can eat before they start, going a little woo.
Yeah.
Can I come with you?
Sure. That's fine with me. We're stopping at the airport and then gonna continue on from there.
Okay, yeah, I might just stay there. I might just grab a ride to the airport. Or there's a flight. flight going out.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on that flight too. So, two's better than one.
Sounds good. I'm Alex.
I'm Sarah.
Joe.
Fish.
Hey. This world's real messed up. What do you think they are?
Oh, do you want like normal Joe response, or like vegan conspiracy theorist Joe, or just like regular conspiracy theorist Joe?
I mean, conspiracy theorists sounds kind of fun.
I think we've done too much to animals and we don't deserve the planet, and they're taking it out on us.
Damn.
That's my working theory too. Although I'm not quite sure if all of us deserve it, but agree to disagree, I guess.
How do you think it got like that? Do you think they just snapped? Like, how did they have all this power for centuries and we didn't know about it?
I mean, humans evolved, didn't we?
Guess so. It's a pretty quick evolution.
So we're dogs.
Wow. What's your plan? Just get in the van and ride?
Yeah.
All right. Is there room for more people? Do you think we should look for? Are we just saying whatever? I kind of want to just say whatever.
I'm glad you said it. I'm cool with saying whatever. I want to get the hell out of here before it gets dark. So we don't have far to go, which is good. We don't have a ton of gas, so I'm driving. Anyone care to call a shotgun? Cool.
Figured you might need like some kind of navigator. Sure, there might not be a lot of people driving, but there could be a lot of stuff on that road that was just left.
It's a very good point, Vish. I've got an internal GPS, kind of like good with spatial awareness, so at least I know how to get us to the airport, but the debris thing, that didn't think of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I came from a bit further before getting back to the mall, and it's real bad. I would say if you don't have a stronger constitution, that you maybe don't even look out the window. So on that note,
So you're starting up the car. It starts, groans to life. You see that tank right at half, exactly what you need to get to the airport. You start off. Vish, what is the scene on the highway as Joe pulls on?
There are, it's like time kind of stopped. There are a lot of cars that did stop when they saw them. And in areas you can see there's some like bottlenecking where people drove over to one side of the road to get a look at things that were going on. But as for like carnage on the road, there are a lot of cars that have been ripped open specifically where the engine might be. There are large claw marks and puncture marks into the hoods of cars, blood stains as people try to get out of cars. If you look inside, there could be bodies if you looked close enough. And there's not too much on the road in terms of any corpses or things like that. A lot of people did get to make it off of the road before anything happened, but it's a mess of car parts and other parts as well.
As your van rolls over, it's used to rough terrain, and you can just feel things bumping and breaking. You hear metal curl under your tires. Joe, can I, or any of you actually, can I get a conflict roll to see how well you're navigating this situation?
Do one of you want to do it?
I think, if anything, because I'm in the back seat, so I feel like Vish would be the one to make the roll.
Okay. And we have 6 dice.
Ew.
No successes, but no failures.
Right. So I had 2 successes. So the conflict fails, and I will win narration rights. As you're driving across this field of just mechanic carnage, I think your tires pop as you drive over something that had exposed nails. And you can hear just the pop of the tire, the front left tire, and you hear the air just hissing out of it, and the flap of the rubber, and then you hear the other front tire go as well, and your car slows to a halt with a metallic screech, and a candle is going to go dark.
Fuck.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
It's not your fault. We keep one spare, but that's not gonna do it.
Some of these other cars might have spares on them. If we can find the right size, I don't know.
Shit, we're not going that far. It doesn't need to be the right size.
Okay.
I'm not worried about this axle staying together. I'll figure that out next place I stop.
But plus, when they have lots of vans at the airport, I'm sure we can maybe switch out there once we're relatively safe.
Should we jump out, go steal some tires?
Yeah, I think one of us should stay and guard the food.
I can do that.
Okay. Joe's gonna start looking for tires.
So these things are true. The world is dark.
We are alive.
And we are alive.
All right. So now we get to establish 8 more truths. First truth is the front 2 tires are popped.
We have 1 spare.
I heard that there aren't even any licensed pilots at the airport currently.
We're on an overpass that overlooks a field.
On the other side of the overpass is a forest.
Jo has 2 cats at home, and she's thinking about that raccoon and is now very worried about her cats.
We have 37 cans of food.
And one more.
We have a tire changing kit in the back.
Okay. So you're pretty well set up for changing the tire. Are you just changing the spare immediately?
I think what Jo would recommend is like, hey, I'll start getting the tires off. If Sarah and Alex, you two go try to find some tires that will work. And then just holler out my name when you find it, and I'll come over with the tool to get them off the cars.
Sounds like a plan.
Sarah and Vish, can I get a roll? So if you're looking for tires.
One success and no failures.
Right. So I also have a success. In a tie, we consult the rules here.
It says ties always break in favor of the GM.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just didn't want to seem like I was treating. So I will control the narrative unless you want to burn a trait and take that narrative from me.
I think I will see what happens.
Okay. You see a lot of the tires have been slashed by them. You're looking. You find a very small tire that you think would maybe fit. It would be a really bumpy ride though, and you're not sure how long it will last. And I think the scenes that you see while you're looking for these tires are pretty horrific. Not only do you see the cars ripped apart, you see victims of them, and you also see signs that they maybe kill each other. There's just this mad kind of sense of just kind of a free-for-all, almost like they're doing this for fun. It's disturbing. You've been pretty much you've been inside for most of these 5 days. You haven't really seen them. You've heard them, and you've seen them a little bit, but you've been pretty protected from this, and it's going to shake you up a little bit. What do you do next?
I immediately, upon seeing my first body, just feel immediate queasiness. And then as I start seeing more and more, I get really sick, and and I am extremely shaken. My brain doesn't even really know how to like process it. So I just kind of keep my head down and just try not to look. I keep my eyes on the ground, just see what tires are there, see if I can find something.
And you find that couple options. You find that really small tire that you think would work for a little while, and you think maybe you might be able to patch a couple of the tires that are punctured, but not like too bad. You remember that you've seen somebody patch a tire before. You know that's possible. What do you go for?
I go for that little one that's in the best condition. even though it's going to be a bumpy ride, but I don't want to risk getting stuck again.
Vish, what are you are you helping Sarah with this search for tires, or is there something else you were doing?
I think I would have stayed with Alex in the car. That was their name, right?
And you were protecting the food, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
They are exceptionally jumpy. You can tell this is the first time they've been outside in at least those 5 days. They're jumping at every noise as you hear Sarah kind of sifting through some of the metal, every scrape against the pavement. They just kind of feel like, oh God, I'm sorry. I thought it was them.
It's all right. Here. And she'll take the rope that she has. There are hopefully a couple of them that she was able to grab, and take 2 ends from one rope and 1 end from a third rope. And it's really like, do you know how to braid?
Yeah.
Strand. I find it really soothing just keeping my hands busy sometimes. So if you want to just braid this rope and unbraid it and braid it again, I'm just going to restack some of the cans. So hopefully they don't fall over while we're driving. And the others will be back really soon, okay?
Okay. Yeah, they'll be back. Mm-hmm. And they start twisting the ropes into a braid. You see their hands start to get steadier as they go down the braid. Are you looking out for anything specific as you're doing the guard, or?
I am trying to pick out, like, in a hurry, if I needed to get away, trying to stack like the best cans of food at the top of the pile. That way, should I need to, I can just grab 3 or 4 things and get out. So I'm just rearranging them as to like best to lowest quality.
Yeah. I think you put the coffee toward the top because you remember the conversation of it's kind of like currency. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing you put on the top is the packs of tuna because they're really light and you think you could run pretty far with them. The heavy cans go more toward the bottom, the beans and the refried beans. I think do we say we had like shelf stable meat as well in cans?
Sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say like diced tomatoes in cans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Joe, you hear this stacking and this conversation from the back of the van.
Are you rearranging? I did the most logical stacking so they won't fall over. What are you doing over there?
Oh, well, some of them did fall. So I was just trying to make a more stable bottom for it. She's lying, but doesn't know if you know.
She's too busy trying to get these freaking tires off without a jack. Like, we put the spare and we put the tools, but we don't have a fucking jack. So what was the point? So yeah, so that's what she's dealing with right now.
So there's no jack?
Yeah.
There is, though, a tire, there's a tire change kit.
Yeah.
That you had, okay. I think.
Did someone forget to pack the jack back in?
Kevin, always forgetting shit.
I think at this point, Sarah, you're back with that small tire.
Well, I don't need a jack to put that on. It's much smaller than the other, so I just won't change that one yet. We can put that one here. But we gotta figure out, we still need one more tire.
Do you want to do a roll to change the tire?
Sure. No success is one failure.
Are you burning anything, or am I taking that dice?
I'm going to burn that card. And it's not like, that's obviously not a situation that's going to come up right now. However, what she does do is looks into, pulls open the passenger side door for the back seat that Alex is currently just braiding like rope in, and's like, hey, why aren't you helping Sarah find a fucking tire?
I'm sorry. I was just trying to take a. I can do that. Sorry.
Cool.
And they'll kind of hop out and start going the opposite direction. They're going the opposite direction, looking for tires. You can go ahead and re-roll your entire pool, your entire dice pool, because that was your brink, right?
I believe it was.
Yeah. So you've embraced your brink and leaned into that aggressive side.
1, 6, no ones.
Okay. So I'm still going to control the narration because I also have 1, 6. And I think as Alex turns over some of the debris, you see one of them. It's been hiding under the car, hiding from the sun, but they've disturbed this creature, and you see it leap at their chest and start to grasp and chomp and try and pull them under the car. You hear Alex scream as you see their arm just disappear under the twisted metal of this car. What do you do?
I yell to Sarah, close your eyes, and make sure that Vish doesn't start trying to run over there to save Alex.
Vish, Sarah, what are you doing?
Again, since I have that trait, which is reactive, I just immediately start trying to run over there in that direction. I don't know if Joe tries to stop me or not.
Well, if you burned a card, would you still be reactive?
No, that's true.
Mm-hmm. You don't, yeah, so you're not beholden to that reactive trait. If you want to still use it, you can. You can burn a trait to wrest narrative control from me in this scene.
Well, but the one I have doesn't really make sense in this scene.
Right.
So I will. I feel like I would try to run over there, and then when Joe tells me to close my eyes, I do, because I've seen enough already, and deep down in the pit of my stomach, I already am like, ugh, it was already too late by the time I reacted to it.
How about you, Vish?
Vish would actually try to gather everyone inside of the car, close all the doors, double check that the car is off, and just sort of sit, not even in the chairs, but on the floor of the car, and just kind of look around at everyone and say, well, we tried to be good people, and I think we were, but honestly, they might have just slowed us down.
I think as you sit there in the car on the floor of the van, surrounded by canned food and survival gear, you just hear the screams of Alex start to get quieter until they're gone. And all you can hear is the scraping of metal as whatever one of them still remains underneath, settles back in to hide from the day. And I think your eyes catch the rope that you handed Alec, and it's half braided, half done. And another candle is going to go out. These things are true. The world is dark.
And we are alive.
Right. We need 7 truths. What is true for this next scene?
Joe's got just like silent tears. No like verbal or audio sound coming out, just steeling herself for the new reality that she lives in.
We have 3 hours of daylight left.
Alex left one of the knives behind.
I think you were able to change the other tire.
Do you mean like both tires? Like both front tires or no?
You were able to change the small tire.
Okay.
Yeah, the small tire. You can set another truth about the tires if you want.
There is a tow truck just on the other side of where Alex just got pulled under. Or a AAA truck, something like that.
One more truth. Sorry, 2 more truths.
They don't have endless appetites. They do get full.
They don't like sunlight because it hurts.
Okay. Do you find yourself here on this overpass once more? As the sky begins to redden with the sunset, you have 3 hours before it's dark. Or you find yourself somewhere else. From the truths, it seems like you guys want to stay on the overpass.
I feel like there was maybe just like a small time skip as we got the small tire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Joe notices the AAA truck just up the way and is like, but they have everything they need to change this other tire, and it's possible they have a spare.
Do you want to risk it? Walking past where Alex just lives?
We have to go that direction anyway.
At least we know it's there now.
Fine.
So you're going to try and sneak past. Are you going to try and sneak past it, or are you like skirting a wide berth? How are you going?
I think.
Go
ahead.
I'm gonna try to give it as wide as possible. Very not necessarily sneakily, just as quiet as possible as well.
Are you walking up there or not, like driving up to the truck?
Well, at the tire, we've got like a flat plus a small tire. We could probably drive there, but I think Joe would clear the debris out from underneath it first so we don't pop our other two tires. Because yeah, you could drive on a flat for a little bit before it fucks everything up. So
Are you gonna? So you're driving?
she considers it, but then she's like, "Is it more likely to try to attack the car if we drive there?"
In daylight? I don't know. Depending on how desperate it is.
I mean, I'd rather it attack the car than us.
Yeah.
It's true.
But then we're stuck here.
Right.
With it there.
It's only going to get stronger the longer we stay here.
Unless someone is volunteering to go, I do think we should drive up.
Do you have anything we can light on fire?
I do.
Keep it handy.
Sure.
All right, I'll drive over there.
Go ahead, and one of you please make a conflict roll.
Who hasn't rolled in a while? I feel like I've done a lot of rolling, and I don't want to give other people the opportunity.
I'll roll this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you have.
Yeah.
In a little bit.
I have one failure and no successes.
I have 3 successes.
Oh, yikes.
So I'm going to take a die unless you want to burn something to re-roll your failure. I think actually your thing that you have to burn is your moment.
Yeah.
And that would give you your first hope dice. So I'd still take a die, but you would gain your hope dice.
Yeah. I will do that.
Okay. So what does that look like? You're surrounded by nature. You have a field on one side and a forest on the other.
I know that they do not like the light, but seeing how much the forest has grown, because even though it's autumn, the trees are still very green. And that's a little unusual for this time of year, especially where we are. Normally the trees are turning kind of this, oranges and yellows. So I'm hoping that if we can maybe get past this forest section out in the open field, we'll actually have a better chance of making it. And then just seeing how it's just kind of inspiring how despite everything going wrong. Just it seems like nature is just kind of thriving, oddly enough. So that does give me hope that, maybe if we can get it out of here, that, maybe this is finally the wake up call to for everyone to kind of start taking everything more seriously, start living in a little bit more harmony with nature.
I think you kind of watch as the sun, as you're driving across, you watch the sun, you do the beaming through the trees, and it's almost casting like prisms from the leaves on the ground. And everything is bathed in this beautiful yellow and orange, almost obscuring the red of the blood that is scattered everywhere on this concrete. And all you can see is the leaves, pattern of the leaves. And you gain hope, Sarah.
And it's the most beautiful I've ever seen it out here.
Do you want to roll your hope dice?
Yes. Okay. So I just roll that one, right?
Yeah, go ahead and roll your extra d6. I have 3 6s, so
that ended up being a 2.
A 2, okay. So I'm still going to control the narrative as the scene ends and a candle darkens. I think the metal screeches below your tires, and you are able to pull up next to this AAA truck. Inside is a body. The door is pulled off. The the winch on the top is partially slack. You think they were trying to pull something. It looks like there was a trailer behind. It's been smashed. There's remnants of like camping supplies and firewood mostly in this trailer. And yeah, you see in the cabin is the body of a man. He's older. He looks like he was in his last moments, very scared. And a candle is going to darken. These things are true. The world is dark.
And we are alive.
We are alive.
Let's set our truths. We get 6 truths. What do you think is true? I know.
Trying to think, like, we found the tow truck and trying to remember if we were in the tow truck or not.
We could skip to you being in the tow truck if you'd like.
We found the tow truck and there was a man inside.
Yeah, I remember the man inside. I don't remember if we were taking the tow truck or if we were using.
We were trying to find a spare.
Ah, that's right. That's right. So let's just start out with that. We found a spare.
All right. I'll say the man is covered in blood.
Joe took a car battery as well.
Smart.
Vish picks up a piece of glass.
Okay.
Sarah finds a road flare.
Was that 5, 6?
That's 5.
Okay.
I have a 6th, unless you have one, Nikki. Okay. The man is not dead.
Ooh.
He looks dead, though. He's not dead. But that is true. That is what is true. So we find you here in this scene, picking up these parts, salvaging. Joe, is the car battery that you find, is it from the tow truck? Okay, so you're not planning to use the tow truck, you're just salvaging for parts?
Yeah, I was just looking for parts. I don't think the tow truck's gonna carry.
You're muted, Joe.
Oh. I was unmuted on OBS, but muted on Zoom. Cool. I don't think it would fit all of us. Usually in a tow truck, there's not that much room. And so between the supplies and then all of us, there's no way that it would fit everybody.
Okay. As you're salvaging for parts, ripping doors open, pulling wires out, you hear a raspy kind of as you can hear the man drawing in air. All of a sudden, his body starts to shake. What do you do?
Joe's Alpine safety certified, so has like CPR and first aid experience and training. So I'm going to run back to the van to get my first aid kit.
Okay. How about Vish and Sarah as Joe's running away?
Vish was probably about to like search his pockets, but since he's alive, she's just gonna go back to the van.
Okay.
I immediately try to like stabilize his head, just kind of grabbing both sides and just gone, it's okay, we're here for you now.
You see the eyes start kind of rolling in his head. They're bloodshot and almost yellow in color as he's gasping for air. And you can see now that he has chest wounds, and it looks if you had to guess, you think probably one of his lungs is collapsed. Joe, you make it back, and I need you to make a conflict roll
Okay.
to do some first aid.
We have 6 dice now.
Yeah.
You do. And a hope dice. You have 7. And that hope dice is going to succeed on a 5 or a 6. So I guess, Sarah, do you want to roll the hope dice? Or
I will.
Oh,
I will do
it's a
that.
joint hope dice. I thought each of us
Yeah.
had one. Got it.
Yeah.
I rolled 1 success and no failures.
And that was actually a failure on my hope dice. So evens out.
So you have 1 success?
1 success.
Okay. I also have 1 success, so I get to control the narrative. And you have 1 failure that I get to remove unless you would like to stop me. Okay. Take one of those dice, but not the hope dice. The hope dice stays. I think you start, what first aid are you doing on him?
Checking for like external wounds that need specific attention, and then asking him for consent to help him, and waiting for him to like shake his head no or nod yes.
Sarah is stabilizing his head. You could see his eyes wild in his face. He's terrified, and I don't think he understands what you're saying. But you see the wounds on his chest. You see the bruising on the side, and he's shaking, like he's convulsing. And you start to see blood kind of starting to drip out the side of his mouth as the rasping continues. You start to compress. You start to compress on the side of his chest, but you can feel the breath slowly getting weaker and weaker. And with a final shudder, he stops moving.
I check his pulse.
He's gone.
I shut his eyes. And I silently just kind of take a moment, that knowing that at least someone was here trying to help in his final moments, so at least he wasn't alone.
I will put my first aid kit back in my backpack.
Okay. So it was a tie, so the scene is not going to end. What would you like to do next?
Change that tire, get going, get back on the road.
I have to keep going.
Okay. Let's get a conflict roll to change the tire.
Okay. I can do that. Oh wait, you only have 5 now, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And do we also roll the hope dice too?
Yes.
Cool.
2 successes, no failures.
And that was a success on the hope dice.
All right. So you win control of the narrative. What happens next?
We are able to get the second tire on, and I'm gonna say that because it's a tow truck, we actually found 2 good tires, and so gonna put that tiny one in the back of the van just in case, and then use the tow truck's jack to jack up the van and get those tires changed as quickly as possible.
Nice. I think you start seeing the light filtering in, brighter colors, painting the sky and the area around you with that sunset as you start to lose the light.
Does this thing go any faster?
Yeah, but if I go any faster, we're gonna run out of gas.
I mean, we could probably walk the last couple miles.
Did anyone check and see if the tow truck has canister or two?
I hadn't thought of that. I thought of getting a battery, but not gas.
I didn't think about that.
We could have siphoned it from some of those cars, too.
Still on the road, do you want to try and siphon some gas? You've lost a little bit from having to stop and start and stop and start.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Can I get a conflict roll?
Somebody else roll this time.
I'll do it. One failure.
I have a success.
And I had neither success nor failure.
Okay. So you had one failure, you said?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm collecting that dice, and a candle is going to go out as you start to siphon the gas. Something in the way that you move sparks something. And the car in front of you starts to burn a bright fire. And you just smell the smell of gasoline and burning rubber. And you can swear you think you hear from the forests around you just angry kind of growls and snarls and snapping. They don't like fire, and they're starting to wake up.
Did I manage to get any gas or?
It burns.
Okay.
You can try again in another car, but it'll have to be in another scene. Do you want to do that?
What do you guys want to do? Yeah.
Okay. As the fire burns, a candle goes out. These things are true. The world is dark.
And we are alive.
And we are alive.
We have 5 truths to establish. What is true?
Fish's hands are visibly shaking. Her cool is gone.
Are we staying here on the road, or are we jumping somewhere? You can say you were able to siphon gas as one of the truths.
Yeah, I was going to say after a couple more cars, Joe had dumped out one of the canteens and was able to siphon some gas and get it into the van.
So are you back up to a half tank or further?
Would that be a separate truth?
No.
I'd say they made it back up. I would say with things starting to wake up, she wouldn't try to get further than a half a tank. She's just going to get a half a tank and get the fuck out of there.
There's 3 more truths.
Or maybe 5 minutes from the airport.
Okay. I think someone is guarding the gate. One more truth.
The van has bear mace in it.
All right. With a half tank of gas full, the sun bright orange on the tip of the horizon. You pick your way across the highway, kind of getting in the swing of things, finding it easier, if not still macabre, to drive past this scenes of carnage and destruction. And ever present is the growling and the spitting and the hissing from the woods. It seems to be getting closer and louder as they start to wake up. What do you want to do?
Vish will grab a can of food from the back. Maybe it'll be a way to get in, bribe the person at the front, the guard.
Yeah, Jo starts reloading her backpack with the stuff that we had found at the mall. Starts like distributing it evenly between everybody, and says like, don't reveal the coffee right away. I would recommend you put it at the bottom of your bag.
Yeah, good idea.
Gotcha.
As you get closer, you roll up onto this gate and you see a woman. She is probably mid-30s. Blonde hair is pulled up into a tight bun, and she is decked out in all kinds of weapons. She has hunting knives strapped to her chest and her leg. She has a rifle on her back. And you see another handgun on her hip. And she'll stop your car and say, all right, I need to inspect everything. No one crosses. What's in here?
Why do you need to inspect it if no one crosses?
You can cross if you're clear.
What are you looking for?
Them.
You think we would be alive bringing them in here?
Some people have them sleeping, think they're dead, load them up. A friend of mine went trophy hunting. Put a trophy in his barn. It wasn't dead. Look, I just gotta check, okay?
Yeah.
I think we should let her.
Yeah,
It's fine.
She opens the door. Damn. Got a lot of stuff in here. What did you bring?
Food.
Food's good. Food's good. We could use food. Is that y'all up on the road that set that fire?
It was an accident, but yeah,
It's a damn good idea. They hate that.
I heard.
I was thinking about dragging some of the cars around to make some sort of barrier, set it on fire, maybe even catch one of them. Aren't you curious? See what it is?
Honestly, no. That I'm just talking for me.
Personally, I would rather not know.
It's not for me.
I mean, I've seen what they can do to like those cars out there. I hate to get close enough to see one of them.
I know there's something exciting about putting something down that big. Anyway, you're clear if you want to go through. But if you wanted to, I could use some help setting up a barrier if that was something you were interested in. If you're not though, I get it. You come a long way. It's fine.
What's
Um,
what's what's in there? What's going on?
Got a group of folk scared as hell, smaller than we think. There's maybe about 7 of us trying to figure out how to get the plane off the ground. Figure out if there's anywhere that'll even take us. Trying to seal off any exits. They got in last night. I don't know if they're still in the walls or what, but we're trying to make a perimeter. They've been working all day on it, but we won't know until tonight, I guess. Any minute now. So honestly, I'm taking my chances out here with this barrier rather than that death trap. It's your call.
I can't go any further north tonight anyway. I can help with the barrier.
I'll help too. But yeah, I'm not staying. This whole thing looks like a death trap to me. I heard some of those things fly.
You heard right. I'm not even sure the plane's secure, honestly. Could be up in them overhead compartments. I don't trust it.
I'm gonna need some of the gas from the cars.
Yeah, get some jet fuel if you want. Go, I don't know, cut a hole in the side of one of them planes.
Well, I meant for the van, but we could get the gas from the cars and then use the jet fuel to light the cars on fire.
Yeah. There's a couple folk that won't want us getting too close to those planes. I think they're actually going to be able to figure out how to fly them. Fools.
What's stopping? How are they stopping you?
They got guns just like me. Y'all got guns? You got anything?
Some small things, makeshift weapons.
I got a baseball bat and a box cutter.
Joe holds
Oh,
up the
shit.
bear mace.
Better than nothing. If you want to try and take over one of them planes, I'd help you out, but we'd have to clear it first. Rather do that during the day, see if we can't survive the night out here.
How long have you been out here?
5 days. I was in there for the first 2, but I've been taking my chances out here for the last 3.
What's it like in there? Has order been established? Is there a leader? Is there infighting?
I didn't like it much. There's one that thinks he's the big boss. Called him, I don't even know. It's like Mick something. John Mick something. I don't remember. But yeah, John's in charge, and he's the one who wants to get that plane off the ground. Thinks he can learn how to fly it. He's been poring over manuals and shit like that. There's some younger folks, maybe like 20, fancy themselves weapons experts. They've assembled themselves an arsenal. A couple of siblings, and then there's just some scattered a bunch of scared folk who's just clinging to any sort of hope they got. We lost 3 last night, 4 the night before. Been putting the bodies in the terminal and just shutting the door.
The way I see it, maybe we should just let them go. That motor is going to make a hell of a ruckus, and it'll be a good distraction from when we're trying to drive north.
You're welcome to go north with us.
That works for me. I'm Ella, by the way.
Joe.
Fish.
Sarah.
Nice to meet you. Well, should we make this barrier before it gets too dark?
Yeah, let's try.
Some of you want to go grab that jet fuel and some of us stay here and pack cars, or what are you thinking?
Vish, did you take fire starters?
Yeah.
Cars are going to be hard to move, but I wonder how hard it would be to use car seats, to get car seats out. Is there anyone in there with tools?
Yeah, there's lots of tools. The airlines kept emergency kits, and they're pretty well stocked in there, I'll be honest.
Maybe we can borrow some tools, get the chairs out of the cars, and make a ring. Set the furniture on fire and stay within the ring.
It's a mighty good idea.
Yeah, I'm sure some of those cars that they have driving around where the people would like load suitcases and stuff like that, they probably have extra canisters or like those big tanks of jet fuel. So we can leave the plane alone and just take the supply instead. They might not notice that.
Oh, damn, I wish I had y'all here a couple days ago.
Sarah smiles for like the first time in quite a while at the thought.
Well, truth is, I can't go back in there. They don't like me any. I burned my bridge with them a couple days ago. So if you do go in there, I wouldn't say nothing about me if I were you. I'll start looking for those car seats. And she starts to kind of head off, and you see she has a machete on her back, and she'll kind of pull it out and start hacking at upholstery and things like that. What do you all want to do?
Sarah, you seem the best with people. Better with people than I am anyway. I think you should be the one to do the talking.
All right, I can do that.
Do you think we should split up? Like y'all distract them. Maybe I go find one of those tanks and drive it over to where Ella is.
Makes sense to me, and we need to get tools, so that's a good enough distraction to just ask them to let us borrow some tools.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave our supplies behind.
Okay, with Ella?
Mm-hmm.
Yup. I mean, because if she wanted to, she'd kill us and take our supplies anyway, so...
But you can keep the car keys.
Okay. Heading into the airport?
Yes.
Yup.
Okay. There's no power here either. And it's cold. The doors are sealed. And you kind of have to pry them open. Those automatic doors. As you open up onto the terminal, you can almost see the shadow of the bustle and hustle that this airport once held, not even 10 days ago. There's abandoned suitcases, papers everywhere from the check-in counters of all the different airlines. You see deep scratches in the carts, and the conveyor belts are ripped to shreds. And you see the remnants of carnage here as well. It's been cleaned up but you still see the deep, dark blood stains all along the carpet. Walking through, it just, the expanse of it reminds you a little of the mall as you walk through the terminal. You start to smell rot again. You start to smell blood, and you start to hear small voices. Past the security gate, you see a huddle of people, maybe about 9, of varying ages, kind of spread out among bistro tables that they've all kind of propped up. They're surrounded themselves with gear. You see bags that they've managed to scrounge. There's some suitcases that are full of what look to be like prepackaged food, like that they've taken from the Starbucks, much like you did, like muffins and things like that. You see gallons of water. There's a pile of weapons. You see 2 younger people kind of presiding over that, making sure everything is cataloged. And as you walk in, there's like silence as a group as they start to notice you. Their eyes all look empty and haunted. So they're not really sure if you're real or not.
Hey there, folks. How are you doing?
One of the older women kind of walks up to you. Where'd you come from?
We came from the mall in town. We heard that, maybe y'all were getting a flight out. Wanted to see.
There's others. There's more. And she starts to just cry. She starts to break down, and she just pulls you into a big hug, Sarah.
And I hug her back, and this feels really nice.
Other people start to crowd around you, getting in your space. Some people are even like reaching out and just like touching your shoulders to just make sure you're real, until you hear kind of a commanding voice like, all right, everybody, step back, step back. Let the newcomers breathe. And you see a tall man in the remnants of a decent suit. He looks like maybe he was traveling for business, but the knees are worn and the sleeves have been ripped off, and he's got kind of blood splattered across his chest as well. He'll reach out a hand to shake your Sarah. Say, John McIntosh, nice to meet you.
Hi, Mr. McIntosh. Name's Sarah, and this over here is Joe.
Joe, hello.
Hey.
So you come to help out with the flight then?
As much as we can.
By chance, are any of you pilots or know how to fly a plane?
No.
Afraid not, sir.
Figured I'd ask. Well, sun's going down. We're hunkering down to protect ourselves for the night. That's Josie, Jim. They're over there with a pile of weapons. They're getting ready to get us all armed so we could get ready for what's coming. We've sealed everything off as well as we could, and he gestures. And you see some containers that have been pushed up against the doors. The windows have been cardboarded over with tape. But you can still feel the draft of some air coming through. It's like we've done the best we can, but every night they get in, it's going to be the same tonight. So better buckle in.
I think we want to sleep in our car tonight.
In your car?
We have one more. She was just a little shy getting in.
Okay. Why would you want it? Safety in numbers.
Well, we made it this far.
I guess, but you're going to do what you're going to do. I don't want to be cleaning up what's left of you tomorrow morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why'd you come in here if you're going to sleep in your car?
just wanted to meet with the folks, see what the plan was.
I was hoping I could borrow some tools.
You want to borrow some tools?
Yeah.
See, our van was how we got here. And, well, I'd like to stay here at the airport. I believe we have some people going to try to go north as well.
You see some of the people kind of looking at each other. Is that an option? And you see John's face kind of darken a little bit. No one's going north. We're getting on that plane and we're flying out of here. We're going to land somewhere where these damn things aren't out and about.
That was the thought with the going north part. Maybe they hibernate.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Wait, I see it. You're walking in here and you're taking what's ours. I don't much like when people try to take what's mine.
Joe's going to step forward and say, look, I wanted to borrow tools. I want nothing else from you. Are you going to let me borrow the tools or not?
I'm going to need a conflict roll.
Joe's patience for cishet men is about as high as mine is, which is not.
If anything, this is cathartic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One success.
Okay. How about that hope dice?
Neither success nor failure.
Any failures on your dice pool?
No.
Joe. Okay. I'm going to control the narrative because I also have a success. Unless you want to re-roll. If you want to burn a trait or anything you have to re-roll.
I'm going to burn a trait.
Okay.
I'm going to burn passionate.
Okay.
Yeah. So does that mean I control the narrative?
Yeah. Go ahead and take that back.
I'm gonna walk up to him and punch him in the throat. As hard as I fucking can. And keep in mind, Joe is a climber and she is strong as fuck. So when she does it, he fully will not be able to speak. So she just like straight up just boom. Because I've noticed that there are people here who don't actually want to listen to him. And so I'm going to make that happen for them. So Joe walks up, punches this guy in the throat and says, does anyone else want to speak and let me borrow some fucking tools?
I love it.
I mean, the way I see it, we're all in this together, so, might as well.
Who do you think speaks up to help you?
I think that John is actually, like, he is some kind of businessman who thinks he's hot shit, but that the people who actually know how to use weapons and stuff like that have actually gotten fucking tired of him. And so they step forward and they're like, they like high five Joe or like pat her on the shoulder and are like, thank God somebody finally did it. And she's just like, I'm exhausted. I just want the tools. Can I borrow some tools or not?
The two, they're very clearly siblings. One of the siblings will kind of say, yeah, come with me. We've got a bunch of tools here, but is there something specific you were looking for?
I want to take seats out of a car.
Okay. So you need something to cut things with and
cutting
something to lift.
Wrenches or,
Yeah, we got those. We've got a toolbox here in this room, but we also have some extras in one of the other terminals if you want to come with me. And I think he'll lead you that way. Are you just going or are all of you going? Is it just Joe or is it everyone?
I'm going as well.
I'm just going to close my office door real quick.
How about you, Vish?
I branched off before we met the group to try and find that tank of jet fuel.
Okay, let's go ahead and do a conflict roll, Fish. Are you going into the storage area of the airport, or?
I was thinking like to a terminal and then to a gate, and then going outside, and trying to find one of those cars with like the big tanks on them.
Okay.
One success, one failure.
Okay. I also have one success. So I'll control the narrative unless you want to burn a trait. You'll also get to reroll that failure.
I'm not sure how I can use this one here. Actually, yeah, I'll burn the trait.
Okay.
Reroll this. Neither a success or a failure.
Okay. So what do you find at that gate, Fish?
There's a body of a flight attendant who looks like they could probably be around my age. She has a walkie-talkie. She's dressed very neatly. But obviously she's not alive. I could tell that she was probably trying to save other people just by the positioning of her body and the other few scattered bodies that are around. And she, just knowing like maybe what Vish knows about flight attendants and what they might have and the resources they could find, she would probably want to search her, find any little bit of something that could help, whether it be keys or something or whatever. But in that moment, Fish just can't bring herself to do it. This was an honest, probably hardworking individual, whereas Vish probably didn't feel that she is that way, and this person deserves to be at peace. So instead, she'll take out her wallet and just find 2 coins and put them on top of the flight attendant's eyes, and sing a short hymn while she continues, just kind of trying to arrange the body in a decent way. And she knows that she's probably wasting time, but something about this scene is overwhelmingly powerful to her, and she just feels like she needs to be a good person in this moment. So then once that's done, she will go outside and walk around or run around probably as quietly as she can until she finds one of the trucks or the little carts that she's looking for with the fuel on it.
You find the cart. It's kind of underneath where people would go in and load the luggage in and out. There's a bunch of tins of the jet fuel. I guess it would be big barrels, probably like big, what are they called, drums of fuel. And you see the luggage carts. A lot of them are tipped over and wrecked as well. All the engines ripped out. And you bring it back to the main area, or they're pretty large. What's your plan?
Well, I was hoping that they would, because they're usually like, at least me personally, when I've seen them being driven around like at the airport, you can like put one of them, or one of them is loaded onto like a golf cart type machine, and then you can drive it over to a plane. So I was hoping to just drive it back out of the airport area.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Um,
and then I would try to find Ella to help her light things on fire.
All right. Can I get another conflict roll to find a working cart?
Absolutely. One success, one failure.
What about the hope dice?
Success.
Okay. So I also have 2 successes. I'm going to take the failed dice, unless you want to stop me. Okay. All right. You are able to find a cart. As you start it, the engine revs so loud. It echoes around. And you realize now how quiet it is where you are. And as you start to drive, you start to hear a scraping behind you. As they are here, you hear one of them galloping behind you, starting to run. As you drive faster and faster, you hear it starting to hiss and growl at the sound of your engine. But the faster you drive, the louder your engine revs. What do you want to do?
Sorry, there's a train in the background. I will grab my makeshift like long range whip, and I'll take my foot off the gas just for a little bit to turn around. And does have a top to it, the cart that I'm driving, or no?
I think it's like a canvas top, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Like golf cart type. So grabbing onto like the edge of it, I'll peek out the side and try to stab the thing with whatever the climbing hook, that's what it is. I will toss the weapon at it and try to hurt it.
All right, let's get a conflict roll.
Oh boy. One success.
I have 1 success as well.
I have a 2. Is that success or failure?
It's a failure. Well, it's not a failure, but it's not
anything.
Okay. Yeah. It's not a failure. No. Yeah. 5 or a 6 is a success on the hope dice.
Okay.
I think the cart is going to tip over as you or tip to the side as you throw the hook, and it makes contact with its face, and you see the jaw start to chomp at the hook, almost not caring that one of the barbs is going straight through the bottom of its mouth, and you just watch as it kind of wriggles like a worm, or not, like a fish on the hook, as you drag it behind you, and it starts to pull the cart over until the cart falls. The drum rolls out of the cart, and you're on your side, and it's injured, but it's angry. We're going to cut back to Sarah and Joe in the airport with Jim, one of the weapons experts, heading to one of the terminals. Can I get a conflict roll from you all? Oh, no, actually, no. Jim knows where the tools are. You don't need to search for tools. Jim knows where they are. He will lead you there and say, well, here's the tools, the extra ones. We just kind of started piling anything we thought we might need. I'm not too worried. We have like extra wrenches and whatever. Just take what you need.
Thank you so much, Jim. You've just been an absolute sweetheart.
Sorry about John. He's a dick.
Yeah, I'm sorry I punched him in the throat. And Joe like looks at Sarah's like, I know I said I'd let you do the talking, and I kind of lost it. I'm sorry.
No, you know what? That was perfectly all right. I think that was way more effective than anything I could have said.
Apparently. Why are you guys letting that guy run shit?
He seemed to be, well, now he's, the, the assessment we had before was he was the most well educated. We took a vote who would fly the plane, and that person would be in charge. And he had the most school, and so we figured he'd figure out how to fly that plane the quickest. But thanks for putting him in his place.
Is he a
I still
banking
think,
type?
I think so.
You realize, you could be
CFO
that.
or something.
You only have to have a C average, and then be good at bullshitting and talking to be good at that kind of thing. I honestly, for being able to read instructions and then perform them, I would have given that to a mother.
That's fair.
And also, guys like that, you give them too much power and they let it go to their heads and they just get worse. So again, I would have had the leading be done by a parent as well. Or a counselor, someone with conflict resolution, not somebody who got a C grade average and then bullshitted his way into a suit.
I have quite a bit of a chuckle with that.
In fact, Sarah would have made a much better fucking leader. She's really good at hitting raccoons with baseball bats.
That's true. I mean, it was an accident that time, but I can hit.
Do you want to fly the plane, Sarah? We could take another vote. I mean, honestly, John's out of control. We could, if you wanted to, I bet we could talk people into taking another vote and voting him off.
I think she thinks for a second and she goes, you know what? I think that's going to be the best chance that we can get out of here in one piece.
All right. I guess the first thing is going to be, he's going to put up an awful fight.
How? He shouldn't be able to talk for a bit.
That's true. Would you just mind just maybe holding him back just in case he gets reckless? Maybe, Joe?
Be happy to.
Do y'all have any one of those like zip ties?
Yeah, we got zip ties. All right.
Okay, all right.
Let's go get him. I think he starts just loads up a toolbox, and with tools, and he starts to pull zip ties and wrenches and different like hand tools out, and we'll go for it.
Joe's gonna ask about Ella. Why are you guys having conflict with Ella?
Yeah, was it like all of you had conflict with Ella, or was it like John had a conflict with Ella?
Ella, she's still alive, is she? Wow. She had it in her head that our best bet was capturing one of them alive, seeing if it could somehow tell us what it was or dissect it or something. And she got a lot of people killed first night here. She set up a trap. She used live bait, and she didn't tell no one. She's bad news if she's still out there. Don't trust her.
Right.
What'd she tell you about us?
Just that you had conflict.
She's not wrong.
And then John was a piece of shit.
she's not wrong. You can bring her back in if you like her, but I think it's a bad idea.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say I like her.
She seemed pretty capable, though.
Well, if you want to go get her, she can join in on this vote. It's only fair if she's still alive.
Seems like she knows what to do with the weapon, too.
Well, if you think she's an asset, then she can be an asset. Just don't go off by yourself with her.
Do we hear the stuff happening outside with Vish?
I think you do. I think you start to hear like a metallic scraping, and you do hear a roar. Do you go look out the window?
Joe says fuck, and then like leaves the toolbox and just starts running.
Okay. How about you, Sarah?
I also start running and I tell Jim to come with us.
Okay. He's going to grab the toolbox, just kind of latch it and shove it under his arm and run after you.
Does Jim have a weapon with him?
He does, yes. He has a rifle.
Okay.
All right. You run past the scene of the dead flight attendant, lovingly placed in the center of the room, but you hardly have time to absorb it as you run out the gate and you see just sparks flying as one of them is tearing into the cart with Vish in the cart, the drum laying on its side, still intact. The creature is huge, furred, with a long kind of snout, big ears, just too many limbs. It's almost unrecognizable as any sort of creature, but you know it likely was once a beast. What do you do?
Take out the bear mace.
Okay.
That shit's strong. Bear mace is no joke. She rips out the bear mace and just like tells Jim, like, you start shooting as soon as it's away from her, and then just like sprays this beast with as much bear mace as she can.
All right. Vish, what are you doing?
I'm trying to grab for one of my broken off scissors and just stabbing.
Okay. Can I have you, who wants to make the first conflict roll? Vish or Joe?
Probably Vish, because that stabbing would happen before I could get the spraying going.
Mm-hmm. And what about Sarah? Are you attacking or are you hanging back?
I'm hanging back, just watching, a little too shocked. But I do grab the flare. I don't light it yet.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a conflict roll, Vish. And a hope die.
One failure.
I have 2 successes.
And I have a 3, so neither success nor failure.
Okay. Do you want to prevent me from taking the die that you have a 1?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens, Vish?
Her initial reaction to sort of fight this creature off so that she can get the tank to Ella just washes away. And the new plan is just self-preservation. And Vish runs out the other side, the passenger side of the cart, towards the tank, and out of her pocket pulls out the matches that she had for the fire starters, and with the scissors that she had pulled out to try and stab the creature, she just stabs a hole into the giant plastic tank and lights it instead.
Massive explosion. As you feel it burn around you. You're burning your brink. What do you think of? Or I guess how is your brink fitting here? So you're just
yeah. She's given up on trying to save this group of people, trying to help them with their plan, because she realizes it's just delaying the inevitable. No one's going to survive these creatures, and we don't really deserve to anyway, because we've put this world through a lot of shit, and maybe we've earned this. So she just tries to save herself like she did before when she pushed her partner in front of her to run away, when they were in their car. And she recognizes that she's doing this all over again. And she spent those first 5 days grieving, and is now just hardened from that memory. And it pops up again in her mind for sure, that image of seeing the person she loves most just ripped to shreds. But there's that feeling of relief. It should be guilt, but it's relief.
You watch this creature start to catch flame as it tries to decide whether or not to go after you or after Joe, readying her can of bear mace. And it, in its indecision, it turns its body, and you see the hook just wrench part of its jaw open, and the rest of the flame consumes the remainder of the body as it screams here on the terminal as another candle goes out. These things are true. The world is dark.
And we are
alive.
We have 4 truths to establish. What is true?
That beast did not like the bear mace.
Is it alive?
No, I think Jim killed it.
Okay.
All the commotion sent Ella back to the airport.
Fish is pretty badly injured on her left side.
I think the fire spread to part of the terminal. Okay.
If I had my moment, what does that do?
Yeah. So burning your moment is going to let you gain a hope dice.
Oh, so I have to specifically like burn it to use it?
You do have to burn it to use it.
Got it.
Yeah. Do you think you can live your moment?
Oh, she ran out to save Vish. That was a damsel in distress.
Ah, so it was. So let's burn your moment. and give you another hope dice. Your dice is also going to reset to 4, so I'll give you back one of mine. Where do we find you after this has gone down? The creature is dead. A shot has been fired. You see flames licking around one edge of the terminal. And Vish is lying on the pavement, burned. What do you do?
Joe sends Sarah with the keys back to the van to get the first aid kit.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to run back. Well, first off, I asked Joe, do you want me to drive the van back here?
That would work.
Okay.
I was just trying to pour some of that like alcohol that she took from the salon on some of the cuts, and it hurts a lot.
I think Jim runs up to you and helps kind of steady your hand. He's kind of talking in your ear, and you can't really understand. Everything's kind of a blur, but you hear him say, "You did good. You did a good job. Hang in there. Hold on."
As soon as Sarah's back, Joe's going to examine Vish's wounds and cover up what we can, so we don't need it getting infected.
Okay. Can I get a conflict roll?
Yup.
And you now have 2 hope die.
One failure, no successes.
And that is no failures, no success.
Okay, and I have 1 success. So, I control. Okay. And how many failures are there? You said none for the hope dice, and you won. Okay. Do you want to stop me from taking this die?
You can have it.
Well, thank you. Okay. You're able to patch her, but as you're doing so, you see the terminal's fire spread inside, and you hear the glass breaking as the heat starts to rise. You can hear people yelling inside. Vish is, you're able to cover her arm, but you're not able to get all of it. Do you want to cover her hands, or do you want her shoulders covered?
Are you asking me or Joe?
Either one of you.
Joe would
I think
ask Vish.
Yeah, hands.
Okay.
All right. They're on the pavement. You feel the pain start to subside a little as your adrenaline kicks in, Vish. Even more so, you didn't think you could have any more adrenaline in your body, and yet there it is, spiking, coursing through. Joe, you also just feel that adrenaline. You can smell the burning body of them next to you. And Sarah, you watch this all with concern. And I'm so sorry I think another candle is going to go out. These things are true. The world is dark.
And
we are alive.
We have 3 truths to establish. What is true?
Ella loses some of her bravado upon seeing one of them this up close.
We hear more howling in the distance.
It's a new moon.
The darkness blankets you as we find ourselves in this new scene. Are you back inside the terminal now? Did you find another way in to meet the rest of the group? Or do you think they came out to you?
I think we could have made our way back inside.
Okay.
We definitely wanted to return the tools, at least.
You find the group there. You see Josie has handed out weapons to everyone who was there. John has a rifle. He's standing silently fuming, his throat just blooming this massive bruise. You see Ella as well there. She looks terrified, shaken. She's looking at the supplies. She's looking at the water, and you can tell that she's making the calculation. Do we put out the fire? Do we even try? Or do we save it for drinking? And you can see she's leaning more towards saving it for drinking water. You see other people packing things up as you approach. Josie kind of waves at you. Jim, oh, thank God. We heard them and we thought for sure they got you. Oh my God, it looks like they did. Are those burns? What happened?
They're here. Like, I'm sure you suspected. Look, if you guys want to actually fly this plane, it might have to be tonight, because if that terminal, the fire there keeps spreading, you're not going to have any planes.
Okay. Well, I guess let's get to the plane then. And no one knows how to fly this thing, right? I guess we'll have to figure it out or die here on the ground.
Or you could head up north. I'm sure there's got to be some other cars out here that can work. I'm just saying, it's up to you, but you can't stay here.
You see everyone else packing up. Jim will kind of turn to the 3 of you. They got me out. A tight spot. We're all scared. I trust them if they think that we can make it north.
It's going to be our best option at this point. It's either we die here, we die on the plane, or we try to make it north.
You can see the eyes start to turn to you, Sarah, and you see the trust. Can I get a conflict roll? You're convincing these folks to come with you.
That is 2 successes.
All right, and is that with both of those hope die?
No, that's actually just my regular dice. My hope die was just a regular 2.
How about yours, Joe?
Oh, cocked. 6.
So that is 3 successes, and I have 1. So Sarah, control the narrative. What happens next?
I start looking around and seeing how everyone is looking at me, and I have their attention. And this is something I'm kind of not used to, but I swallow deeply and I say, listen, I know it's going to be hard. We've all experienced losses, but I think if we all stick together, I think we can get to this. We got a van. It can fit, I don't know, what do you think? Maybe like 2 or 3 people in there. And maybe if we can find another car, I think we could load it up and carry a van out of here. And I start looking around and thinking, if we can at least maybe get to maybe the employee lot, maybe the parking garage, there'll be a good chance that we can do that. And I look around and I say, does anyone know how to hotwire a car?
Do any of you know how to hotwire a car?
No,
No.
not me.
Ellie does.
Of course she does.
Of course she does.
She'll raise a hand and you can see that it's shaking.
All right. I think we got ourselves a plan.
Everyone picks up what they can carry and starts walking towards, or running rather, towards the signs that say parking, baggage claim. As you run down the escalators, you can see, again, just bags torn open, everything strewn all around, the conveyors ripped up. One of the LED screens is still just, the fuse is still just burning out, like a tiny small electrical flame, where you once could see what the flights were coming in, going out, whose bags you were picking up. And you can see a large parking garage stretched down in front of you. What are you looking for?
Maybe one of those. I would say we're also looking for like a van, something that can also carry a lot of people. So maybe even one of those, like those airport shuttles, something like that.
All right, go ahead and make a conflict roll.
That is 2 successes.
All right, you win narration rights.
Wow.
I only had one success.
That was with my hope dice. Came in handy.
Yes. Wow. All right.
All right.
What do you find?
I know. We find like those shuttles that take you to like the car rentals that are like located outside. Mm-hmm. And I look to some of the stronger looking people in the group, and I say, anyone know how to pry these doors open?
A couple folks,
yeah,
walk up with tools, and Vish or Joe, are either of you helping?
Yeah, Joe would help. She's pretty beefy.
Vish, how are you feeling? How was your arm?
It's weak, but the adrenaline is helping. And there's this like new sense of maybe hope, maybe a glimmer of hope in her, because having all these people wanting to work together cohesively is not something that she's encountered in the past couple days or week. So she's able to push through it, I think.
Vish, do you want to add a hope dice to your pool and burn your moment?
Yeah, I think seeing the scene and how everyone is, again, we're just working together, she feels a sense of camaraderie, which is different from the sadness that she's felt.
Okay. So go ahead and add your hope dice to the pool. And can I get a conflict roll to get this get this door open with 3 hope dice in play.
I rolled a 6 as well.
I rolled 3 6s.
Oh, yeah.
I rolled absolutely 0 6s. The world wants you to get out of this airport. Okay. You're able to pry open the car or the shuttle door as people start to pile in. I guess you have control of the narrative.
Yeah, so everyone starts to pile in, and I'm looking at the visors, hoping that maybe they left a key in the visor or something. And I don't find one there, but as Ella looks at the wiring, she realizes that, yeah, this is fairly easy to break. And she's able to hotwire it and get it running. And I say, let's meet up at the van. Let's get going. Let's have, and I'm just running on pure adrenaline. I was like, let's have some of the people with weapons start like an Overwatch with the windows. Make sure nothing's coming this way. As I start directing them back to the van so we can caravan out of here.
Is anything coming your way?
I think with the sound of the engine echoing, we start hearing grumbling and kind of like roaring in the distance, but not quite anywhere near us.
I think you know that once you leave this parking garage, you're definitely going to run into them.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything anyone wants to do to prepare? Other than having people ready out the window?
Vish will ask for a gun.
Josie's going to hand you one. Do you know how to use this?
No.
Don't point it at anyone except for them. She'll show you how to pull down the part you have to pull down. This is where we learned that Christina doesn't know how to use a gun. She'll show you where the trigger is, where the bullets go in.
How to eject.
Yeah.
No, make sure keep your hands free of the slide. Aim down the sight. I know how to shoot a gun in real life, so I'm just like.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just very basic. Like don't aim at anyone. Yeah. Don't try to shoot unless you know you have a clear shot, because we don't want to try to clean up anyone's bullet holes or anything.
Mm-hmm. And I think she showed you how to pull the window down so we're not shooting holes in the van itself.
Yeah,
Got it.
Right. What do you see as you peel out in this airport shuttle you peel out of the parking garage? What is the scene before you?
we see the big fire burning in the distance, and the van is not parked too far away from there, but far enough away that it hasn't caught fire yet. So we're going to try to go there, and as we're doing so, in the rear mirror we start vaguely seeing an outline of fur.
Do you think Ella has set up her barrier and set that on fire?
I feel like maybe she only got maybe one.
Okay.
It was hard for her to do by herself.
Yeah. I think you see it burning like a beacon in the distance, so you know
Mm-hmm.
where your van is. Are you driving faster to avoid them or trying to stay under the radar?
I think Ella's driving, and I think she is going as fast as these wheels will take her.
All right. I'm going to need a conflict roll.
I got 3 successes again.
I got 2.
Neither success or failure from the hope die.
Okay. And how about your hope die, Joe?
4.
Okay. So you all once again win narrative rights. What happens next as they come up behind you?
I feel like Jim is able to get off a couple of shots. It makes him angry, but it's enough for the beasts. Maybe it gets hit in the leg and it slows down, but it's still trying to chase after us. And we get closer to the van and I say, get ready to jump out. Basically, we're going to try to do like a fire drill, hop out the van, get in the van as close as possible, tear out of here.
Oh God, I haven't heard that phrase in so long.
Things are on fire around you. It is a literal fire drill.
Yeah.
Will everyone fit in the van?
Not comfortably.
Not comfortably. Like we can maybe fit 4. So I think the others will have to go stay in the shuttle. Yeah.
Who all is getting in the van with you?
We're gonna take the most capable. Ella, Jim's sibling.
Okay. So Ella, Jim, and Josie?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I think the older woman who had hugged you first, Sarah, she'll kind of come up and stand by Ella as she's driving and kind of hold on to one of the like little handles that hangs down from the bus and says, I got this after you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You pull up and there you are by the van. Can I get a conflict roll from everyone?
Okay. I swear to God, if we keep surviving, I roll 3 successes again. Okay, that makes more sense.
I rolled a success as well.
Okay. Do you have a success?
I also rolled a success.
All right. What happens next?
Well, I was about to say, Joe, do you want to take over the narrative?
Yeah, do that.
Since it's your van. So.
Yeah, what happens, Joe?
We get in the van and Joe gets in the driver's seat and has Vish next to her, get shotgun, and then with Sarah, she tries to get Sarah to sit in the right in the middle of the next back seat, because she feels like she'll be safer there, and she starts driving. Where are we going? Gonna find more gas? Is that what we're doing? Like, this is Nikki asking, not Joe.
Oh, okay. I was like, we're going north. I don't know where north is. Yeah, I feel like, well, definitely we need to get away from here, because if they don't kill us, the fire will probably kill us as everything explodes. So I think getting out of here as fast as possible and trying to find gas afterwards.
Right.
Should be our next priority.
Joe guns it out of there as quick as possible.
Okay. So there are a couple of options that you have as far as highways. You can take the highway that Highway 26, that cuts through the mountain range where they are coming from. Or you could take the 19 that will still go through, it won't go through as many cities. I guess either way, you're going into country.
Yeah, she definitely would take them on like the least likely to have cities and lots of cars and all of that sort of thing, because she is going to assume that although there won't be as much light there, they also won't have as much to feed off of an attack out there, and so they're more likely to be in the more populated areas. So yeah, so she's gonna take people. She's gonna start heading towards. She's also thinking flatlands. As much as she's a climber, camper, hiker type of person, and she wants to head north, she's thinking north like Dakota, like not into the mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, because like into the mountains, where I think is more like, there's gonna be more animals.
Okay. The thing about the Appalachians is they cut across pretty much. You have to go pretty far east to try and get around them. So you're going to have to cross them if you want to go to North Dakota. That's going to be the fastest way to get there. Either you can drive east, then go north and try and get around them as much as possible, or cross them right now and get it over with. I think we'll decide after a quick break. Does that sound good?
Mhm.
Okay. And we're back. We were deciding which way to traverse with the van and your airport shuttle in tow.
I think Joe stops for a moment at like what would be like the crossroads of like figuring out which direction to go. And she would start thinking out loud. More animals in the mountains, but colder weather. Could be more dangerous, could be snow. I don't have snow tires on this van. They're in the other van. We could go around, head east, but we're gonna go through more towns that way. And she's just like stalls the car there and waits for somebody's to give input.
Well, we're trying to go north because we think that maybe cold weather can deter them, at least some of them. I know we don't have snow tires, but there might not be snow. And that's at least a risk I'm willing to take at this point than spending more gas to go around.
Sarah?
That makes sense to me. I mean, I think like the faster we get out here, the less chance that we have getting caught in the snow. And the quicker we find maybe a refuge or something.
Okay. Joe's gonna head towards, if they're gonna go up into the mountains, she's gonna head towards like an outpost that she knows about, like having been up in climbing and hiking expeditions and stuff and giving hiking tours and things like that. She would know like where the ranger outposts are and stuff for safety reasons. So she's gonna head towards one of those ranger outposts.
There are a few of those scattered all around the Tennessee-North Carolina border, as that's where the Appalachian Trail leads. So, and you know that there's check-ins for hikers who are doing the Appalachian Trail. So you could go to one of those check-ins and you know they're usually pretty well stocked, ready for almost anything because those hikers show up in all kinds of conditions. As you're stalling, you hear the sounds of them around you getting louder, more intense. Can I get a conflict roll to see what happens, I guess, as you rev that engine that echoes and they start to notice?
Joe goes, should have gotten a fucking hybrid. No successes, no failures.
One success.
Oh wait, hope die.
Okay.
Nope, not a success or a failure either.
I'm going to embrace a brink to reroll my dice pool. As your as you drive through the mountains, you know, Joe, you start to see a group of them. They don't notice you because they are in a ring. They're in a ring around. You see a group of people screaming. You see them passing back and forth a person, almost like they're playing some sort of game with this person. And every time they pass the person, a piece comes off. Then they pass the person. Another piece comes off until the screaming stops. Then they pick up another person and it starts again. What do you do?
Keep driving.
And you still control the narrative because I control the narrative for that piece because I re-rolled all my stuff, but you all still won because I still have 0. What? All right. So you keep driving. You roll past this scene into the dark. There's no moon above you, and you can see shadows pass across. And you think one of them is, at least one of them, maybe more, is tracking you through the trees. They haven't come out yet, but you can hear the growls and the snarls all around you, and something is flying above. What do you want to do?
I forgot they could fly.
Some of them, yeah.
Joe just focuses on the road, keeping her eyes forward, trying not to let anything in right now. And is just breathing.
Fish is braiding and unbraiding and braiding the ropes, trying to keep feeling in her arm.
As that wound worsens, Fish, I'd like for you to roll a conflict roll to see how bad it's getting.
One success, one failure.
I also have one success. So I'm going to take that failure dice. Unless someone wants to stop me. Yes, Fish, you're out, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. Your arm, you're starting to lose feeling on the upper arm, and your fingers are a little slower than you're used to. You have to switch to your non-dominant hand with your gun because the other hand hurts so bad. You're not going to be able to shoot with it. I think Ella sees you kind of leaning out the window with your gun in that non-dominant hand, and she just kind of looks at you like, don't put us in danger. Don't do that. She'll reach out her hand. You can take that off your hands if you want. Just focus on getting better.
Yeah, okay.
She'll take it from you. Straps it to her back. How about the rest of you? Oh, actually, that's going to be a candle, isn't it?
Yep.
All right. As she takes the gun, that candle goes out. These things are true. The world is dark.
And we are alive.
Need two truths. What is true?
We can see the outpost. We're that close to the outpost that we can see it.
We can see our breath in front of us.
All right. The outpost in view, foggy breath blooming up around your faces. You can see the windows also fogging up in the van. You're being jostled around this windy mountain road. You're deep into the Appalachians now, and they are everywhere around you. You're not sure if they're playing with you like they were playing with those other people. Every now and then you hear the scrape of a nail or claw against the van. You swear you hear them laughing, strange animalistic cackle, almost hyena-like, that echoes around, but you can see that outpost. What do you want to do?
How are we on gas?
It's getting pretty low. Getting pretty low. I think, Joe, you stop suddenly as you see a group of them in front of you on the road. One is large, standing on hind legs, almost like a bear. Again, too many legs. Claws wrong, the mouth wide. Then you see something that looks like it might have once been somewhat related to a mountain lion, but the tail is elongated like a long whip, and you see a mouth at the edge of the tail waiting to strike. The face is just blank. And then a horde of what look to maybe have once been raccoons. Now they're all kind of in this conglomeration, stuck together, angry, snapping, almost rolling along the ground. What do you do?
Push forward in the car as fast as I can.
Okay.
Weapons up, everyone.
Can I get a conflict roll for the car and then for the weapons?
You. We have 2 dice left.
I have 2 dice left.
Everyone has hope dice.
No successes or failures on the dice.
1 success.
Same.
On the hope dice.
No successes.
No
on the-
successes or failure.
Okay. I control the narrative. I have 3 successes. The car is stopped by the large bear-like creature is just going to crush the front and rip out the engine, and your van just splutters to a stop. As you stand here, as the you can see the smoke start to just pour out of the front of your van, and you see the van or the shuttle behind you just barrels off to the side and tries to get around you, and it tips over into the woods closer to the ranger station. You can see people start to try to pour out. The raccoon creature starts to kind of linger toward them as well, and a candle is going to go out. These things are true. The world is dark.
And we are alive.
And we are alive.
We have one truth. What is that truth?
Everyone gets out of the car.
Okay. You're standing there in front of these creatures, and you can see others start to, you see the light from the eyes, from the flames that are now taking up your van. You can see the glint of the reflections of the eyes all around you in the forest, and you hear a kind of strangled cry from above as what were once birds wheel around, watching you. They alight on branches, their wings wrong and strange, some too many, some too few. Their 6 eyes looking at you as they watch, almost gleefully, like they're watching some sort of sporting match. What do you do?
Jo reaches her hand out for one of the guns.
Okay. Can I get a conflict roll, Jo?
No successes or failures.
How about hope dice for the folks?
1 success.
2.
I have 3 successes. Jo, your candle is going to go out. What are Jo's last moments like?
Jo was a lifelong vegan, was raised by vegan hippies and grew up vegan, and has never hurt an animal on purpose. And when she looks at these creatures and sees the hate in their eyes and the joy that they have in killing humans, she no longer sees them as animals and starts firing.
Joe, I just realized you have another card. If you'd like to burn it to re-roll any failures that you had.
Well, honestly, she's feeling pretty judgmental right now.
Okay. Go ahead and re-roll your failure.
Do I re-roll the hope die too?
Just your failed die.
Haha! 6.
All right. So I'm still going to control the narrative, but Joe, you see your candle is still burning as you start firing, and this creature comes apart with the shots that you fire. As it does so, you see the glint of more eyes behind you, and you hear the roar from the sidelines. And you realize with a sick fascination that you think they might have enjoyed that just as much as watching you die. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to grab a weapon and I'm going to cover fire as I try to get to the others.
Okay, go ahead and roll a conflict roll.
That is 1 success and 1 failure.
Okay. I'm going to take your failed die unless you would like to burn a card to stop me.
I will burn a card since I have since I have this one last one.
Yeah. As you're covering people, how are you trustworthy in this moment?
I try to get them to tell them to go to the ranger station. But we tried to get them as far as possible, but they got further than they would have if we stayed at the airport. So I'm going to try to cover for them. And maybe there's supplies, weapons, or something that they could use at the ranger station. If they can get it that far, then, I feel like maybe I didn't let them down.
You see that loyalty in their eyes as the people in the shuttle start to hobble toward the station. There's 2 that are taken by them, are starting to get tossed around as a toy. The others, though, in horror, are running away and catch your eye, nod. You see that respect pass back and forth. How about you, Vish? What are you doing?
Knowing how injured she is and knowing that she probably can't make it to the ranger outpost, Fish will take the 3 remaining little campfire starters that she has, sit down, and just place them around her and light them.
Are you, and how, let's go ahead and get that conflict roll. See what happens next.
We're down to 2 dice. That's 3 failures.
No success, no failure.
Okay, so I'm going to take these. 1 success.
I rolled a 5. Rolled 1 success.
Okay, all right. So Vish, you control the narrative because I rolled 0 successes.
I think Vish knows that she's in her final moments, whether she wants it to be or not. She's fought really, really hard to just try to survive as long as she could, betraying her family, stealing from people, letting other people die who she probably could have saved. And she's learned a lot in the process about what they are and how they think. And her pride really gets in the way this time, and she does not want to be tossed around like some kind of toy. And she sees again the body of her partner in their car just being ripped to shreds, not even eaten, not even used for anything like sustenance or fuel, just mindless killing. And she lays down and she lifts her ankle with her pants over one of the little flames that are starting to grow, and lets herself catch on fire.
How about the rest of you? What are you doing as you see Vish's flame? You see, I guess the monsters, the beasts will start to shy away as this pillar of fire bursts up from the forest, almost like it is a tree itself blooming in the night. And the light casts all around, and you can see the shadows, and the creatures come into sharp relief for moments. Some of them scurry backwards, others seem enraged and fly forward, starting to scratch at the ranger station. What do you do?
Joe looks at Sarah. What's Sarah doing?
I'm seeing how they react to the fire. And I see Vish do this, and as much as I want to step in and save her, I know I saw the way she lifted her ankle, and I knew that this is what she wanted for herself. But I see the way that they react to the flames. And I remember I still have a road flare or two.
Are you lighting those up?
I am lighting one up, and I'm going to kind of do almost kind of one of these to try to get them back. The flames that are from the edge of the road flare will be enough to get a little bit of a birth as I try to get away.
Joe sees what Sarah is doing, looks at her, aims, and shoots Sarah in the heart. And then walks over, grabs the flare, and throws it on top of the... Don't cry, Christiana, you're gonna make me cry. Is going to throw the flare into the driest bush she can. She's lighting this fucking forest on fire.
Sarah, what is the last thing that you see?
As I'm laying on the ground and I feel my body getting colder, a little bit, just like I don't know if I can even comprehend what happened, but as I see the trees around me light up, it reminds me of that sunset that I saw earlier. And I don't know what's going to happen, but at least I got some people out. And that's all I could really ask for as I take my final breaths.
Joe, as you light this forest on fire, the creatures that are flying are all going to dive bomb at you. And they're going to peck and claw and rip at you. What are your thoughts in your final moments, Joe?
Joe, part of her hippie upbringing is an amazing meditator. And after she shoots Sarah and starts this forest fire, she closes her eyes and starts to step back and feel the warmth of the fire on her, and thinks about all of the times that she would sit around the campfire with people and get to know them, and all the times growing up going camping with her folks, and just goes to her happy place.
I think you watched that fire burn almost outside your body. That fire burns for days here in the Appalachians before a great rain knocks it out. There's a huge smudge of charcoal across the face of the mountain range. All that's left of your story. These things are true. The world is dark. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're playing 10 Candles, and I think we have one last thing to do. Let's roll that tape.
10 days ago, the world went dark. 5 days ago, they came. We're going to find out what happens when humans are pushed to their brink. What is real? What is right? And most importantly, what will they do? These things are true. The world is dark, and we are alive.
Hey, this is Joe. I'm in the back of Bob's Sporting Goods in the storage area. I've refilled my bag. I've got water and first aid supplies. I heard some noise coming from a little slice of heaven. I'm going to stop by there, see if there's anyone who needs my help, and then I'm heading north. I'm going to see if I can find my folks or see if they clear out a little bit as the weather gets cooler. We'll see. I don't have a lot of hope left, but if somebody needs me, I'm going to help them and then be on my way.
My name is Vish. We're in a dress shop in Mars Hill Mall. We're losing hope. But my sweet girl, wherever you are, please understand that I did what I did to save you. Please forgive me.
My name's Sarah Birch, and currently holed up in this dress shop. I'm safe right now. You know, when I heard rumors that they were starting to come back, I thought to myself, nature's healing. It was going to be a good thing, but not like this. I never wanted anyone to get hurt. And so now we're trapped here, and I just want us to survive. So I just want to get out of here.
And we're back. And we're in live color.
We're okay. We're okay. Thanks everyone for joining us. Did you want to do where to find us first, or are we just going to chat about the game, or what would you all want to do?
I think let's decompress first before we tell people plugs and where to find us, because I think that That was pretty intense there at the
Yeah.
end, and we've had 2 days of doing this recording, and so we had a break in between, and I feel like the audience definitely probably has not unless they're watching this in the VOD. So yeah, so something that's part of the TTRPG policy is that all GMs are required to host a session 0 and use safety tools, and so we did both of those things. Some of the safety tools that we used were the RPG consent form, which we all had access to what each other's lines and veils were. And then as well as an X and O system in the chat on our call. So case in point, I asked permission before I killed Amanda's character because I did not want her character to go out being pecked to death when she was like such a
That's why I was
person.
not super like upset at that. It was just more like I think the shock of watching Vish immolate herself.
Yeah.
And then just being like, the torn between I want to save her, I can't save her because she wanted this, and then bang. And then I'm just like, all right, well, this is fine.
I felt even comfortable doing that to my own character in this group because I had reviewed what all of our lines and veils were. So I knew that this wouldn't, cause any kind of issues with us. So that's the only reason why I did that.
Yeah.
And there will be content warnings, like all of you will see the content warning, audience, because it'll be on the screen. Right now it's not there because we were waiting until we knew what they were going to be. Quick, stars, because Christina, amazing. I had chills multiple times. I almost cried, but not because I was upset or scared, just like got choked up there at the end of all these characters that we built so quickly. So stars to everybody for the amazing role play. But the one piece that was so small, and this shows what an amazing GM you are, is the part where you said, I had mentioned that Ella had lost some of her bravado, and when you said she raised her hand or something and her hand was shaking, and I was just like, those small beats where you inputted that into that characterization of that NPC, and I just want to make sure everybody knows that happened, because sometimes those little things kind of slip under the cracks, and that was brilliant.
Yeah, there were a lot of moments like that, definitely. Awesome.
I so appreciate everyone's willingness to jump in and create those narrative beats for us to all play with. The way that you are all able to weave in your brinks, which when we were creating the brinks, some of them were so extreme. And I thought, gosh, how are we going to make this work? And they all worked so beautifully and so well in just this tragic way. It was really hard to keep a straight face.
Yeah.
Not to break and cry and just be emotional. Just, y'all are brilliant. Thanks for going there
Thanks for leading us there.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's also one of the cool things that happened here is by having this group was a group of people that I've played before, but I don't think any of you have played together. And it shows a lot of trust, and it warms my heart. And I said this last night that the community we're building with TTRPG is just amazing, where I know that any cast I put together is going to have amazing chemistry, is going to go amazing, and are going to meet the expectations that anyone could possibly have for role players. So I'm really, really grateful for all of you, especially you, Christina, for putting this together. And I know you like to plan, and so having to roll with all of the punches. I think that it was awesome. Any last words from anyone before we do plugs?
I just had a great time, and this was my first time doing a horror kind of tragic RPG in any sort of way, and I loved every moment of it. I was like on the edge of my seat. And when we were coming up with those truths, had a moment of like, do I want to try to give us an out or do I want to make things difficult? So it was really fun to try to come up with the truths where it's like, I don't want us to be too like overpowered, but I want us to like not be so overwhelmingly struggling. And I think that was really cool how we all eventually came sort of to the same sort of conclusion.
Yeah. I have a question for all of you as players. I think, what was your favorite thing to burn? Was it a trait? Was it your brink? Or was it your moment?
For me, I think it was, I think my brink was, because I was like, how the fuck am I going to burn? So basically, my brink was Jo would kill one of the humans before she would kill one of them. And so I was like, how am I going to do this? And so I knew that if I sent that NPC out of that van, you would kill them. So I was just like, that's my choice. But then burning passionate and getting to punch that guy in the throat was fantastic.
That was a great moment. That was a moment of levity that I think that was just like unexpected, and I loved it.
I have a lot of feelings about investment bankers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my brink was also my favorite thing to burn. I think there's also like, there's not a lot of, at least in the RPGs that I've played, there aren't a lot that allow you to like get to that point of desperation. Because we're all being team players and we're all creating a safe space for each other, but we're also in this like extreme situation. And it doesn't always get to that point in like other kinds of tabletop games. So it's just really fun trying to role play that, I think.
Mm-hmm. I didn't really get to burn my brink until those very last moments where Jo shoots me. That's because my brink was, they have seen you put yourself in harm's way without thinking first. So I feel like if her grabbing the flare and trying to create like a path would have been that moment, regardless. My favorite was actually having to burn my moment super fast, kind of earlier in the game than I was anticipating. And so that was why I kind of liked the idea of like watching the sunset, knowing that it's like, it's going to be nighttime. They're going to be here, but the sunset is so beautiful that I can't help but have that moment of like, gosh, like nature's just so beautiful and overwhelming, but it's also trying to kill us, but it's beautiful. And I feel like that I tried to tie that in with her death as she watches it go aflame, and it just reminds her of that moment of like, okay, everything will hopefully be okay for the others, you know. So yeah,
You all did amazing. I would totally watch this movie.
I know. And when we started rolling all those successes, I was like, this is like the moment in like horror movies when you're like, oh, they're gonna make it, and then they don't.
Totally.
All right. Well, why don't you, Christina, start us off with your plugs?
Yeah, absolutely. So hi, I was your GM this evening. My name is Christina Sisto Kindle. I use any pronouns, and you can find me on Twitter at D20xtina. You can find me over on Carry Comfort on Thursday, Carry Comfort Studios. We're playing Monster of the Week. And you can find me, actually, you can't find me on TTRPG on Saturdays because this will be airing the day after our finale. So if you haven't, go check out Formations on YouTube at TTRPG. I played a vampire, my very favorite monster. I love vampires. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Christiana?
Hi, I'm Christiana. This is how I act normally, but I always choose to play like super dark and like brooding characters. Psychoanalyze me, if you will. You can find me on basically any social media platform at Carpe Christi. And usually we're on a hiatus right now, but you can also see me every other Thursday at on the Grimwood Saga on RJ Cresswell's Twitch channel. It is a horror stream, but not quite as horrific as this one. It's D&D 5e, but it's low magic, high role playing, not too much combat, and it's really fun. So if you want to check that out, well, all of our older episodes are there to watch for free, and we'll probably start streaming again after the holidays.
All right, Amanda.
All right. Hi, I'm Amanda. You can find me over at Twitter at Pandacabra, and you can also find me on Twitch under that name as well. You can usually find me pop up on charity streams every once in a while, but if you happen to go on Honey and Dice's channel, you'll find me in Composure, which is an original musical TTRPG written by Honey of Honey and Dice, where I play Nyx. And I believe that will be on Wednesdays. We're currently on hiatus, but you can catch the video on demand on, I believe, Twitch and YouTube. If Nikki, okay. So yeah, be sure to check that out as well.
Awesome. And I am Nikki. I'm co-creator here at TRPG. I'm also an educator and an LGBTQ and disability advocate for teachers. I will be on Sunday it happened before this, so hope you turned in for TTRPG the talk show. November, we're running on Saturdays. We will have Besieged by the Dead, which is a Ravenloft campaign, and Ellis said, I want to make a dark horror campaign, and I said, cool, let me play a princess. So catch me being naive and hating mud on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Pacific. We'll put the VOD up on YouTube as per all our other shows. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. If this was hard for you to watch, drink some cocoa, take some deep breaths, and take care of yourself.